Just in the last couple days here, we've had a lot of developments that have come in, some major changes, some major announcements, and I do want to discuss, as you noticed there in the title, tariffs, the newly enacted tariffs, no more taxes. That sounds kind of interesting, as well as how does all of this tie into Social Security, which is a main topic that we focus on here on the channel. And again, all of you that receive these monthly benefits administered by the Social Security Administration. So, like I said, we've got a lot to talk about. Let's buzz through these details right away, which, by the way, if you're joining live right now, thank you. Really appreciate it, and hope you're having a nice day, which, by the way, leave your comments, your questions, your feedback, anything like that down below in the chat box if you'd like. You don't need to. I will spend some time in the chat box a little bit later, but we're going to buzz through a lot of details right now. And if you're watching the replay of this live stream, then thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate that as well. And as always, leave your comments, questions, feedback down below in the comments section. Okay, let's talk through the details. Again, a lot of things have changed. So by now, I'm guessing you probably heard about the newly enacted tariffs that came in as of yesterday. The president came in and he enacted a 25% tariff on Canada, a 25% tariff on Mexico, and a 10% tariff on China. Okay, so why do we care about that? Here's why. Guess who the top 5 trading partners are with the United States? I'll tell you. You'd probably think, well, it's China, right? Everything comes from China. You would think so, but it's actually not, right? So anyway, here's who the top 5 are. Canada, number 1. Mexico, number 2. China, number 3. Japan, number 4. And United Kingdom is number 5. These are the top 5 trading partners that we have. And as you notice there, the top 3 just got tariffs put onto them yesterday, okay? Now, why do we care? Here's why we care about this. What is a tariff? Let's just say it kind of bluntly how it is. It's an import tax. It's literally a tax on imports, okay? Now, here's the thing. To put this into perspective, last year, 2024, fiscal year of 2024, the federal government collected $4.92 trillion in federal income taxes. Not through tariffs, that is federal income taxes from people that are out there earning a paycheck, paying federal taxes, a percentage on their earned income. Nearly $5 trillion went to the federal government. That's a massive amount of money. That's craziness, right? That's a huge amount. Now, at the same time, they collect a little over $3 trillion a year in tariffs. In other words, taxes on imports, right? So, yeah, that's, or actually what I should say, sorry, let me say that again. Basically, we bring into this country a little over $3 trillion worth of imports is basically what I should say. Sorry about that. Okay, so anyway, it's important. So here's the thing. We've also heard out there for a while now, and again, this is kind of making you wonder, because here's the thing. It's still very new. We don't really know the impacts of this quite yet, and honestly, we probably really won't know the details of this yet for probably a couple more months. Reason for that is you kind of got to let the dust settle right now because this is very new. We don't know if this was just a negotiating tactic and this is possibly going to be repealed or what's going to happen here, but I would say we won't know the full effects of this for probably 2 or 3, maybe even more than that months out from right now. And by the way, I'm hosting this live stream, if you're watching the replay on this, in early February, okay? So anyway, the whole point is, the whole idea, maybe, is to possibly abolish the federal income tax, okay? Now, I know this seems super out there, like, no, that's never going to happen. You never know, okay? I have no idea. Nobody knows what's going to happen here. I mean, maybe some people have some pretty good ideas, but trust me, I'm going to get into this here in just a second and kind of wrap this all together as far as how this pertains to Social Security, your monthly benefits, things like that. It's all going to be wrapped up here in just a second, but I kind of wanted to lay the groundwork here quickly. Okay, so then anyway, the idea is possibly abolishing federal income taxes. And again, I know that sounds like way out there. It's not going to happen, stuff like that. But here's the thing. I wouldn't really put it past them. Here's the thing. When they implement these tariffs, basically what they're doing is they're putting these taxes on importers, right? So who has to pay for that? Well, if somebody's importing anything into the United States coming from these countries, again, Canada, Mexico, China, now they have to pay these new tariffs. Pretty big tax on whatever's being imported. And there's a lot of money. Excuse me, it's a lot of money that's coming in every single year. That's a lot of tax revenue coming into the federal government through these tariffs. And the whole idea may be to potentially offset basically the income coming into the federal government through tariffs rather than taxing the people like you and me and everybody else out there through federal income taxes. Now, maybe the tariffs are just kind of a supplement to the reduced federal income taxes that are brought in, or maybe they're trying to completely replace all of the taxes on the people through tariffs instead. Okay, there's a couple different iterations that I've seen out there. We'll have to see what happens with this whole thing. And again, it's way too early at this point to know what will happen. But here's what's interesting about this as well. Okay, think of like automotives, right? Automobiles, things like that. I've been reading a number of articles about this. And they've said, some of the articles I've been reading on this, apparently because of this 25% tariff on Mexico, they're suggesting that we could see $3,000 price increases across the board on average on vehicles just because of these tariffs on Mexico. Because a lot of these parts and different things that are, for vehicles, for automotive manufacturing, I'm going to be honest with you, I am definitely not an expert in that field. I don't know much about it. I've just kind of been reading about it today. But a lot of the pieces are made in Mexico and that they import them here to assemble, things like that, right? Well, as a result, then again, that's going to be put onto the vehicle price. And again, who pays for that? We pay for it at the end of the day, for the most part, unless the companies, the manufacturers, things like that, eat the difference there, which I'm going to say this much. I've seen some people out there, and I've read some articles about this saying, oh, the manufacturers and the suppliers and the companies, whatever, they're just going to eat this and they're just going to eat it on their margins. No, they're not. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. They're not going to eat it. They're going to pass it on to the consumer. Every single business does this. I don't care who it is. It could be the guy down the street selling apples. It could be the car dealership on the corner. It could be the fast food restaurant. It does not matter. When prices go up on supply, they pass it on to the consumer by raising their prices. Who's the consumer? It's you and me, right? Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we're likely going to see higher prices if these tariffs do stick. And again, I wouldn't be shocked one bit if we see these things repealed here in the next, I don't know, few days, few weeks, maybe the next month or two. I wouldn't be shocked one bit if we do see these tariffs completely repealed and say, just kidding, it was just a negotiating tactic. I wouldn't be surprised to see that, but again, way too early to know that right now, okay? Now, here's another interesting part about it. What do we import from Canada? I think you can probably guess. What's it going to be? Yeah, lumber, exactly, right? So we bring in a lot of lumber into this country through Canada. Well, what do we use lumber for? Building sheds in our backyard? I mean, maybe some of us do. I don't. I'm not sure about you, but it's used for building houses, obviously. Do we have a little bit of a housing crisis in this country right now? As an affordability, which, by the way, the average median, or I shouldn't say that, the median price, average and median are two different things. So for me to say average and median would be kind of conflicting a little bit. Anyway, the median household, what I should say is the median home price in the United States right now is over $400,000. Do you think the average person out there can afford the home right now across the United States? Nada. No. With interest rates sitting at about 7% as well, do you think that people can afford those houses? No. Why do you think we're having such a housing crisis right now? Exactly. Well, here's the thing. They've imposed this 25% tariff on Canada. Okay, is that going to be applied to lumber? It looks like it, right? It may not be applied to things like oil, but it looks like it's going to be applied to lumber. Okay, do you think that's going to make the housing crisis better in this country or worse? Yeah, it's going to make it a whole lot worse because now it's going to make it even more expensive to build a house because they use a ton of lumber to build a house. Obviously, you know that, right? So that's just going to make the crisis even worse in this country. Okay, so what does all this mean going forward? Now, again, I could sit here for an hour or two or longer rattling off all kinds of different information. It's pretty interesting. I've been reading a ton about this, and I'm just kind of super fascinated by this. But okay, so what does all this mean going forward? We're likely, if we see the tariffs stick. Now, again, I really do want to emphasize if the tariffs stick. Again, I said this a couple minutes ago. I'm going to say it again really quickly. I would not be shocked one bit if they repeal these. They roll them back and say, just kidding, we're going to roll these tariffs back. We're not going to do it anymore. And they come to some kind of agreement somewhere else, okay? I wouldn't be shocked one bit if this is still a negotiating tactic, which I really do think it is. And we'll see what happens here. But anyway, if the tariffs do stick, okay, if we fast forward, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, something like that, and the tariffs are still in place, okay, if these are there, then what are we going to see? Likely a lot more inflation. So remember a couple years ago, back in June of 2022, we saw inflation top out at 9.1%, and then we've been slowly easing down since then. And inflation is still sitting kind of sub 3% right now, but above the 2% target of the Federal Reserve. Yeah, well, guess what? We're likely to see that translating higher. And what happens when inflation goes up? Well, number one, our purchasing power depletes, right? We have $1. That $1 buys us nothing today, right? It bought us, a few things 10, 15, 20, 25, 50 years ago. $1 bought us quite a bit. Today, $1 is practically worthless, right? So anyway, When inflation goes up, we have purchasing power that continues to deplete. Therefore, our money is getting us less goods and services, right? You know the drill on inflation. We're all basically experts at this point because we've been dealing with it for so long. Now, same kind of situation with these tariffs and the tax on imports. That's likely to be pushed back to all the goods and well, not necessarily services, but mostly goods that we are buying on our store shelves. A lot of which there's a whole huge long list of all the different things that we import in this country, a lot of it. And then we're going to be paying that, most likely. Okay. Now, as the consumer, as we pay these higher prices, we're going to drive up prices as well. And then this drives up inflation. Well, how does that translate into your monthly benefit check? Well, it translates into Social Security because of the COLA. Obviously, we know how that whole thing works, right? They take the inflation data represented by the CPIW, the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, in the third quarter of the year, which is July, August, and September. They compare it over the previous year, year-over-year comparison. The difference of inflation is called the COLA for the following year, and then we get a teeny tiny pathetic raise to our benefit, which is never enough, and then they take most of it away through the Medicare Part B premium increase, like you heard me talk about in that video this afternoon, okay? Yeah, you like that? I mean, okay. Are you getting sick of my rambling yet? There's just so much to talk about here. Okay, so that's how this whole thing translates into this. Now, there is some discussion that maybe with this increase in tariffs on other countries, or basically importing into our country here in the United States, that maybe they can actually reduce and completely remove federal income taxes, okay? Now, would that impact everybody? No, it wouldn't impact everybody, right? If you are a senior or person with disabilities and you are receiving a fixed income benefit, in general, are you paying federal income taxes on your benefit? Well, it's kind of a loaded question. Some people, yes. Some people, no. I would say the majority of you here in this community, probably not, okay? Just because, obviously there's cutoffs on all that, and it's based on your provisional income aside from your Social Security monthly benefit, things like that, if you're taxed on the federal level and then the state level as well, stuff like that, okay? I have other videos here on the channel talking about it. But maybe if they roll back the federal income tax, maybe they roll it back 100%, maybe they roll it back partially, maybe there's lower tax brackets, who knows what they do? Again, it's all up in the air right now. But then there's also this other discussion of possibly implementing a national federal sales tax. Gee, that'd be really nice, right? You think of it this way. You go to your local store, you buy $100 worth of stuff, widgets, whatever it happens to be. And then they say, because you added up the prices as you went through the store, you added up $100, right? And you get to the checkout and they say, well, it's $113. And you say, where'd the extra 13 come from? And they say, oh, it's the state sales tax, right? Well, just imagine now you rack up $100 worth of stuff in your cart, you go to the checkout, and it's $137. Wait, what? Where'd the extra 37 come from? Oh, well, it's the greedy state. They want 13. And then the federal sales tax, they're also going to want the other difference there, right? The other, $24 or whatever, right? So that is what they're talking about as well. So who knows if that happens, but just to give you a little perspective of what I've been reading about this, a potential federal sales tax. I've been reading percentages across the board. I've seen 21 and 22%. I'm going to say this much. Ouch. That's not going to be a fun one, okay? I mean, here's the thing. Paying a 9 or 10% sales tax on the state level, don't get me wrong, that's not a fun thing, right? I mean, that is not a good thing. I mean, when you're out there at the store and you buy a couple $100 worth of stuff, you're tacking on 10, 15, 20, 25, $30 in just taxes above and beyond what you were spending already. It adds up fast. And then adding up another potential 21, 22% federal sales tax on top of that, it's a lot of money going out the door, right? So we'll see about that. Again, it's all up in the air right now. But again, rolling this back, bring this thing full circle. What does this mean for you and your monthly benefit, okay? And again, I want to reiterate, all of this is up in the air except for the 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico that were applied yesterday, as well as the 10% that was applied to China yesterday. Those are in effect, but all of these other things like the repeal, the abolishment of federal income taxes, the national federal sales tax, that as well, rolling the tariffs back, all of that is still up for negotiation. And I think we're going to have a much more clear picture on this in the matter of the next, call it 2 to 5 months or so. I know it seems like a long time out, but we'll just have to see. I mean, we need to give it time, because here's another thing as well. I would not be shocked at all right now if over the next, I'm just going to say this much, probably the next, I don't know, at least month, we're going to probably see very rapidly rising prices. Why? because people like you and me or other people out there are going to say, let's buy it now, quick, stock up now before prices go up even more, right? So stock up while prices are low. Just like what people did back in COVID, right? Stocking up on all kinds of random stuff. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see supply chain issues and if we see price increases rapidly over the next month, month and a half or so as people start to stock up, not only consumers, but businesses as well. And then things might tame down after that. Again, just saying, more demand outstripping supply, available supply, therefore prices must rise. Simple economics 101. That's literally what it comes down to. Which, by the way, as you know, if you've been watching the channel here for a while, I watch the financial markets very closely. The futures market, down, down, down. People do not like this. Not liking this at all. So the markets right now, even though it's Sunday evening as I'm hosting this live stream right now, the futures market opened at, 6 p.m. East Coast time on Sundays. And yeah, futures are down quite a bit right now. People do not love this whatsoever. So it's going to be super interesting to see what happens here, okay? So just get ready for this. Here's what I want to say about this. The purchasing power will deplete of our money over the coming days, weeks, and months here, unless the tariffs are repealed, which, by the way, Mexico and Canada, I don't know about China yet. I haven't seen anything about China. Maybe I just missed it. But I know Canada and Mexico did implement retaliatory tariffs on the United States as well. So there you go. We're going to see how this whole thing shakes out. But let's just watch this. Okay, but here's the thing. Over the coming days, weeks, and months here, we will likely see depleting purchasing power because prices will continue to rise. We will see inflation likely going up. And then also, this could translate into, depending on what happens in the next, February, the next 6, 7, 8 months or so with inflation, if it really takes off aggressively, we could potentially see a pretty nice, healthy, aggressive COLA again. But that's way too far out to know right now. We'll have to see what happens with these tariffs. Again, I know I've said that like 50 times in this video because it's true. We don't know yet. I mean, it just happened yesterday, right? We don't know what's going to happen here, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. Now, one more quick side note, and I'm going to get off of this, and then I'll jump into the chat box, which is the Federal Reserve, right? The menace on the street. The Federal Reserve has kept the interest rates very, very high over the last few years to bring inflation down, right? Their last meeting that they just had, what was that, last week? Yeah, it was last Wednesday. I talked about it. In that meeting, they held interest rates steady. They paused. They did not do anything. They did not raise. They did not lower. They just paused, okay? Now, what does that mean? It simply means that they're holding interest rates very high. It's very expensive for you and me and everybody else out there who's maybe floating balances on credit cards, like I am. Again, by the way, did you see my video, I don't know, a couple weeks ago? I told you how much I'm floating on a credit card right now. Not proud of it. I'll tell you this much. It's 5 digits? Yeah, 5 digits. I'll just tell you. It's almost, $34,000? Yeah, not proud of that, okay? I'll just tell you that much. I just looked at the balance today. I don't like to look at that number. It's a big one. Okay, so anyway, I'm not proud of that, but it's just the reality of the matter right now, okay? But my point is, I don't enjoy paying a 22.5% interest rate on 34 grand, okay? All I'm telling you is that's a lot of interest that I'm literally throwing into the wind. I was going to say another bad word, doing that stuff into the wind with that much. It's just, I don't like it. It's just a waste. It's a total waste, but that's just how things have to go. And I can tell you this much. I am not the only one out there that's doing this. There's a lot of other people in this unfortunate situation right now. But since inflation will likely be going back up, unfortunately, the Federal Reserve will likely keep interest rates very high and unfortunately maybe even raise them even more from where they're sitting right now. Please don't do that. To bring inflation down or to basically reduce the appetite for spending. Now, here's the thing. If they were to do that, and if all of this continues to happen, I guarantee you this much, we're going to get whacked with a big old recession, okay? There's no way we're going to slip out of this thing without getting whacked with a big recession. And you know what happens with recessions. You heard me talk about it this morning in a separate video. If you didn't see that video, watch that video. I talked about stimulus, but it's all predicated on recession, okay? Anyway, you following all this stuff? It's super interesting, but we're going to see some very eventful things happening here over the coming days, weeks, and months here, and just want to keep you posted on this. So anyway, I know this video feels like it was all over the place, because it really was. It was literally all over the place. I'm talking about a million different things here in this video, but this is just what happened this weekend, okay? Get ready. This week is going to be interesting. I would say tomorrow, Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I was going to give some little prediction, but who knows? I mean, we could see a massive, a massive drop in the markets tomorrow because people are going to be very, very upset about this and just trying to liquidate positions. So who knows what happens here? We could be on the cusp of a big recession that I've been talking about for a couple of years now. This may be the catalyst that pushes us over the cliff. Okay, I've been saying that for a while now as well. We need a catalyst. This may be it. This may be the catalyst. Okay, I'm going to take a little breather. I'm going to jump into the chat here. Hopefully I'm live. I don't know. I pushed the button. Let's see what happens. Anyway, I'll spend a little bit of time in the chat box. I hope this makes sense for you. Again, thank you for letting me represent you and advocating for you. Thank you once again for allowing me to be your trusted source on this information. I know it's weird out there. I know there's a lot of information out there. Again, I just want to do what I can for you to break all this down and to talk through the details about it. I know it's very, very, very confusing. A lot of things are happening. I get it, right? I'm watching the headlines every single day, and it's just like, whoa, where do I even start on this? Okay, anyway, that's why I wanted to jump on a live stream here quickly, just to kind of break all this down, spend a little more time with you, answer some questions, and see what I can do. Okay, so I'm going to get into the chat box here. I need to load it up here, and I'll answer some questions. So again, if you're joining live right now, thank you. Really, really appreciate it. And leave your questions down below. We'll spend a little bit of time there. I'm not going to go too crazy in the chat box, but I'll try to do what I can for you. Okay, I need to pull this up. It's kind of a slow process. I apologize. I'm slow. I know I'm slow. Okay, looks like it's live. Let's see. Hopefully it loads. I know I'm slow. Okay, there's me talking. Okay, let's get in the chat. Oops. Okay, there we go. I listen to myself talk. Okay. Anyway. Bertha, is it Bertha? Yeah, you must be replying to somebody else above. That's just the first comment I saw was from Bertha here, saying something about, I was wondering, are we still going to get our monthly benefit check? Yep, you will. Don't worry about it, okay? Nothing's going to happen there. You'll be totally fine. You'll get your monthly benefits, okay? It's nuts. There's a lot of things that are happening, but if things really get ugly really fast, I want to reassure you, you will get paid, okay? You will continue to get paid, okay? Just, yeah, you'll be fine. Yeah, Cindy Lee is saying, so most people won't be able to shop, businesses will collapse. That's kind of what's going to happen. Yeah, we'll see. That's, again, a lot of the uncertainty right now is that nobody knows. Is this one thing that comes in for 2 days and they say, just kidding, just repeal everything, just kidding about that, or does it stick? We don't know. Again, nobody knows. I'm not the only one here. Nobody knows. We're all trying to digest this whole thing together, figuring out what's this mean going forward here. All we know is that it happened. And this is the new reality right now. We've got to kind of, plan for this going forward right now because this is what's going to happen. Maybe they repeal it, but we can't count on it as of this point. Yep. Lillian, hello. Hey, Lillian, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Yep. Lee Sullen. Yeah, Lee Sullen. I hope I'm saying your last name correctly. Yeah, thank you. Oh, by the way, I didn't see this, but I read articles about it, and apparently the president said this. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not hear the quote out of the president, so I cannot sit here and be like, oh, yeah, he said it for sure. I don't know, but I have read this in a few different sources. Apparently the president did come out and make a statement saying this is likely going to, hurt the consumer a little bit. Those weren't the exact words at all, but it was something along the lines is, this is going to hurt a little bit, okay? I don't know if he actually said that. I did not hear him say it, just being completely transparent with you, but I did read it in a number of articles where he said something along those lines. Again, those were not the exact words, but it was something along the lines of, yep, it's going to be like a little shot. It's going to hurt for a second, okay? Just get ready, and it might be a little painful afterwards. So we've been knowing this. We've known this for a while now. If this happens, it's going to be painful. And before the election even took place, we knew they made it very clear with the new DOGE Department of Government Efficiency. They made it very clear last year. They said, hey, if we cut this federal spending and we do our plan, it's going to hurt. We know this. I mean, they literally made it very clear to us last year. They said, our plan is going to hurt. Initially, it's going to hurt the economy. It's going to be bad. but it's going to be better for the long run. Okay, they made that very clear to us. They told us that very clearly, very loud and clear last year. So this could be the start of it, and realistically, it is the start unless they repeal this, which honestly, I don't really know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Yeah, Penny is saying this happened the first time when he was in office. Yeah, right. There were tariffs on steel, right? Yeah, exactly. So, yep. Shell Balestra. Hey, Shell. I have your letter sitting on my desk. Yeah. Stay tuned, Shell. Yeah, I saw it. I did not respond yet. Sorry. Sometimes I'm terrible at responding to emails. But yep, I got your letter, printed it out, and I'm gonna show it, video upcoming here. I want to make sure that I'm blacking out all of the personal data you have on there, which, by the way, I'm going to make sure that not a single stitch of your own personal data will be shown in anything. But yeah, I will make a video about that. So thank you, Shell. Thank you very much. Francine, I see your message there. Yeah, scary. That's I don't know, kind of a tough message, but yeah, I hear what you're saying there, but let's just hope it's not going to get that bad, right? Yeah. But yeah, thanks for being here, Francine. I appreciate it. Yeah, Beverly. Hey, Beverly, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it as well. Thank you for being here. No. So Eliza, okay, this is just what I want to emphasize, okay? I see these comments all the time, things like this. And again, I'm not trying to single you out. I just want to say this because I see your message right now. You say, I just got here. Are we losing our Social Security benefit? No. I can't tell you how many messages I see every single day down below in the comment section where somebody leaves some ridiculous comment like based on the first like 5 seconds of the video. It's like, dude, just listen to the video. No, absolutely not. You're not losing your benefit. No, that's not happening. You're fine. Your benefit will still arrive. Nothing is happening there. They're not going away. They're not being canceled. They're not ending. Social Security is not bankrupt. Social Security is not going away. Social Security is not cutting your benefits away from you. Nothing. You'll still get your benefit. Yep. Okay, Play to Win 1958. I love the name, by the way. Okay, I'm going to spend just a few seconds on this one. You say, do you see an economic stimulus? Okay, really good question. Here's the thing. If the tariffs stick, if the Federal Reserve does not lower interest rates, if we see elevated inflation, we're getting in a recession. I don't care what anybody says. This is going to whack the economy. The market's going down. The economy's going to get whacked. It's going to get ugly. Okay? My point is, if we see that happen, which we are literally teetering on the edge with this economy, we've been doing this for a while now. But as I mentioned earlier, this may be the catalyst that pushes us over the edge. If that happens and we head down into a massive recession, guess what? They're going to provide stimulus, okay? They do it every single time, okay? It's not me just sitting here being like, well, that's my crystal ball prediction. No, look at history. Literally every single recession that we have in this country is met with massive stimulus. And every single time, this stimulus gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Look back at the recessions that we've had. 2000, 2001, 2008, 2009, 2020, 2021. The major recessions that we've had in the last 25 years, look at all of them. They've all been met with stimulus, massive stimulus for the time, and they keep getting bigger and bigger. The stimulus that we saw back in 2000, 2001, and 2008, 2009 were in the hundreds of billions of dollars. 2020, 2021, we're in the multiple trillions of dollars. Next time, it's going to be in the multiple trillions of dollars again. Why? We're not going back to hundreds of billions of dollars. It's nuts. No, we're going into the trillions, and we're not looking back. So when we see this massive, recession, economic contraction, which I've been saying for a while now, please give it to us already. Why? It's going to reset a ton of the stuff that we've been dealing with, like high inflation. It's going to bring all kinds of things down. It'll be good for all of us and our money and our finances. It'll be a welcoming thing, because if we don't get something like that, we're going to get more of the same. Nothing, literally nothing will change unless we get change. Well, how do we get change? A big old recession. Give it to us already. I've been saying that for a while now. I know it's kind of an unpopular thing to say, But that's how we're going to get the change that we need and the reset of our finances in a good way. It's going to bring inflation down. The Federal Reserve will lower interest rates aggressively. Housing prices, rental prices will come down. Food prices will come down. Utility prices, everything will come down in price. They'll make money easy again. It'll be super easy to get loans. Interest rates on credit cards, thankfully, will come down. It'll make it easier. They will make money easy again. Right now, money is hard. Why do I say that? Go try to get a loan. It's like practically impossible. You got to have a super good credit score. You got to have a really good high income. And then maybe you get a teeny tiny loan, right? But for the most part, right now, money is hard. Hard money. It's tough to get these days. During a recessionary time frame and coming out of that, money is super easy. Anybody can get money. You can borrow money easily. They want you to spend to the hills, spend all you got, right? They want to do that. Why? Because it stimulates the economy. That's what happens, okay? Anyway, my explanation there was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but you get my point, right? So, like I said earlier, this may be the catalyst we've been waiting for here to really get this economy going, as in down. Right? So anyway, by the way, I don't want to sit here and act like I'm some like negative, oh, doom the United States. No, I'm not saying that at all. I love this country. I'm so grateful to be part of it and to be living here in the United States. I mean, seriously, we could be living somewhere else, right? There's a lot of other places that we could be, and we're grateful enough to be living here. I mean, this is amazing. Seriously. I mean, we're so grateful to be here. But my point is, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, hopefully the country will fail. Absolutely not. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that we need something to reset all of this mess that we've been in for the last few years here, the last 4.5 years. We need something to reset the mess. Unless we get the reset, nothing changes. More of the same, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, Edward Pacific, good question. It's not. Tariffs are not going to stop that, okay? I don't want to say that word just because I think it's kind of like a bad word that YouTube would think. Anyway, it's bad stuff coming across the southern border. Totally get it, right? Are tariffs going to stop that? Absolutely not. No, it'll still get here. Yep. Susan Bennett, really good question, asking about what do I think with the federal funding freeze and people living on housing vouchers. I think that's what you were asking. You said a different word, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Good question. I'm going to be honest with you. I looked into that. I mean, I looked into like the federal funding freeze. I'm not sure if that's really going to be impacted. Maybe it will. But let me look into that a little bit further. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I didn't really read about it in regards to like housing, federal programs for housing, stuff like that. But let me look into that further for you, okay? Again, so I want to be transparent with you. If I don't know the answer on something, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do. But I really want to read into that further. Yeah, the federal funding freeze, okay? That's a whole nother can of worms that we could open up right now, but I really don't want to just because it's a massive situation. But that happened last week as well, where basically all federal agencies were told to freeze. Hey, freeze. Don't send out any money. Well, do you think that caused a little chaos? Absolutely it did. Yeah, that's been a whole mess too. Yeah, Marlene, I see your message there as well. Thanks for watching. Yep. Junior Martinez, hello. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Yep. Yeah, Play to Win, 1958, and Penny. I see your messages there. Yeah. Yeah, Rudy the King saying good question. Susie Bennett. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Good question. Let me do some further research for you on that. Honestly, I don't have an answer right now. I didn't see that specifically, but let me look that up for you. Yeah, Shell Balestra. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Shell, stay tuned. You'll see that. Thank you. Yeah, Scooter Man, I love your mess. All right, I love your name. That's such a cool, that's really cool. Scooter Man, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for being here as well. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, Gay Baldwin, I see you there as well. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Yep. Santano. Okay, I'm going to say this name wrong. I apologize. Gamilio Santano. Hey, I apologize. I know I'm saying your name incorrectly. I apologize. But you're saying, hey, what about SSI? Don't worry about SSI. Again, that falls under the Social Security umbrella. SSI is technically not Social Security, but it is administered by the Social Security Administration. Therefore, it falls under the Social Security umbrella. You're good. Don't worry about it. You're fine. SSI is fine. Linda Anderson is saying, I'm worried will rent and other bills go up? Really good question. I would say, if anything, no, prices on things really should come down, okay? During a situation like this, I wouldn't really think so in that type of situation. And again, it's kind of too early to know at this point. I know I've said that so many times here in this video, but it literally is. This is like a little more than 24 hours old at this point. So we'll really have to continue watching this to see what happens over the coming days, weeks, and months here. But good question, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Play to win 1958. Yeah, saying that's fertile ground for stimulus. Exactly. 100%, right? Yeah. By the way, if you want a little research project, I said this earlier, but just do it. It's super interesting to read about it. Just look back at the last 3 major recessions we had in this country. Interesting. They did the exact same play out of the exact same playbook every single time. They started out with hundreds of billions of dollars, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger every single time. Why? Because the appetite of the economy needs more money every single time. Actually, I'll give you a quick little analogy. The analogy that I've used before in other videos is I talk about the stimulus being, well, I talk about the economy being the patient going to see the doctor, right? And they need a shot, right? They need a big old shot. Well, I talk about stimulus being like the injection. How much injection does the patient need? Well, how sick is the patient? As in the patient being the economy. Is the economy really, really sick? Well, guess what? It needs a huge shot. Pull out that big, big needle, jab it right in their leg or wherever they do it. I don't know. You get my point? But that's the thing. The syringe and the needle are kind of like the the amount of stimulus. The more sick that the patient is, the economy, the bigger the stimulus needs to be. That's what happens every single time, right? And again, as the economy continues to get bigger and bigger, it needs more money to basically reinflate it from where, when it goes down or gets deflated. Yeah. Dana? What? I'm totally confused. Dana is saying, Perry. By the way, my name is not Perry, it's Matt. But yeah, okay. Perry, why did you title this Cuts to Taxes and SS? I didn't title that. That's definitely not the title of this video. I'd advise you to read the title again. The title of this live stream is, well, I don't really know because I don't have it in front of me, but I think it is something like Newly Enacted Tariffs, comma, No More Taxes, and Social Security. That's the title of the live stream. So, I don't know what to tell you. I think you misread the title of this video. I definitely did not say cuts to Social Security. Definitely did not say that. So, I mean, unless somebody went in and changed the title of this video somehow while I'm on here, I highly doubt that. But yeah. Joseph Bailey Jr. saying, what about Social Security disability? Same thing applies. This falls under the Social Security umbrella. You're good. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Your benefits will still arrive. You're good. Okay? Yep. Yeah, Teresa, very good point. It always gets worse before it gets better. 100%. Think back to 2020, right? It was looking pretty bad there for a while, and all of a sudden they printed up the $2.3 trillion CARES Act. pushed out some $1,200 stimulus checks. Things started rip-roaring in early 2020. Things started getting a little better. They juiced us again the end of 2020 with another $600 stimulus checks. Again, things were getting a little better. They juiced us again in early 2021, another $1,400. And then they basically just said, well, sorry, you're on your own now, right? So, but yes, I totally agree with you, Teresa. It gets way worse before it gets better. And honestly, that's kind of what we need at this point. I know, I mean, I definitely don't want anybody to struggle at all, but what I'm saying is that we need the economy to really get whacked really good, like a real good whacking. And then that is when they come in on their white horses and they, save everything. And oh my, we've got this new package and it's, $3 trillion or whatever it's going to be. And then they come in and they print up all this money and they do the same old thing they've done every single time. And then they push all this money out. Okay, yeah, but I totally agree with you, Teresa. Yep. Momentous tuber, I think it is. Momentous tuber. Basically, you're saying your message was something along the lines of, so if they stop SS, Social Security, if they were to cut S, Social Security, stop benefits, whatever, how long would it be until it runs out? I'm going to say this much. Don't worry about it. It's not happening, okay? Don't worry about it. The program is not going anywhere. They're still collecting Social Security payroll taxes. They're still getting money on the investments of the money in the trust fund. They're also collecting taxation of Social Security benefits. They're bringing in well over, what is it, like 1.3 something trillion dollars a year in income into Social Security. They're good. They got about 2.7 plus trillion dollars in the trust fund. It's not going anywhere. Don't worry about it. Social Security is not going anywhere, which, by the way, this year is the 90th birthday of Social Security. It was enacted back in 1935, August 14th to be exact. And yeah, will be the 90th birthday of Social Security. It's not going anywhere. It's totally fine. Oopsies. Oh, man, I was just trying to read a message and I clicked away. Sorry about that. Marlene, I think it was, you said your whole family served this country. That's awesome. Thank you to you and your whole family and everybody else out there. That's so awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. No, that's not true either. Marlene is saying in 2033 there will be no more Social Security. That's not true. That is not true whatsoever. There's a lot of meatheads out there talking about this that have no clue what they're talking about. That is not true. Not true whatsoever. Okay, Social Security will still be there in 2033. Benefits may be reduced, but I highly doubt that because Congress will come in and they'll print up a couple $1 trillion. They'll plow it over to Social Security, and the whole problem will be fixed for many more years to come. Don't worry about it. Okay, that's what I'm saying. They're not going to let this program go down. Trust me, not yet anyway. Maybe someday they'll let this thing go down, and maybe they'll let it drive itself into a ditch, but I don't think it's happening anytime soon. Maybe in 20, 25, 30 plus years, maybe they let it do that then, because it just, kind of runs its phase and then it's kind of out and done at that point. But I don't think Social Security is going anywhere in the next 10, 15, 20 years. I really don't think so. Not right now anyway. What's going on here? Mo3, do you see SSDI going away? No, definitely not. Definitely not going away. Nope, don't worry about it. Definitely not. Sorry, I'm trying to just look through all the comments here. There's just a lot of back and forth. Hazel Cooley, hey, thanks for the nice message. Really appreciate that. Yeah, glad you enjoyed the videos. Thank you. Really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. shoot, I clicked out of it again. Okay, Dana, I saw your message there. Thanks for the clarification. Okay, yeah. Okay, so Dana, I saw your messages there. Yeah, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again right now, but let's just see what happens. Again, I see all the channels, I see all the people talking about it. I totally get what you're seeing, okay? That's what I've said before in other videos. I'm always going to bring it to you straight here in these videos. I'm going to bring you honest, accurate, reliable, and transparent information every single day in these videos, no matter what. And again, I'm not going to sit here and beat around the bush and be like, well, you know, this or that or whatever. It doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve me to sit here and tell you something that's not true. But I will talk about all the details, and I do like to give updates on what's going on because I'm not sure about you, but it's a pretty fluid situation that we're living through right now, and things are changing very, very rapidly. But just stay tuned. Let me keep you posted on that. And yeah. But by the way, like I said earlier, I've said it a couple times so far, what we had yesterday, okay, these tariffs on other countries, and I know it sounds like tariffs. I don't even know what that is. I don't really care. All I care about is my Social Security and my SSDI and my SSI and my retirement and things like that. That's all I care about. That's okay. I don't blame you. That's all we really care about. I totally agree with you. But these tariffs could be the catalyst that pushes this economy over the cliff. Okay, if that's the case, get ready because we're going to see massive, massive stimulus coming forward. Which, by the way, did you see my video from last weekend? If you didn't see it, I'd say watch that thing. It's pretty interesting. But last weekend actually was, I think it was on Saturday. I put that video out. It was some leaked information that came out. It's kind of like public information now. But at the time that I had that video, is fresh leaked information that came out of a closed door meeting. But this package that they're working on right now is between 2.5 and $3 trillion that they're working on right now. Literally right now as we speak. Well, okay, maybe not right now as we speak. I mean, it's kind of late in the night or evening right now, but on a Sunday as we have this live stream. But you get my point. They're literally working on a 2.5 to $3 trillion reconciliation bill that is going to be passed here within the next handful of months, right? And anything can be added into it. Anything. Well, not anything, but I mean like a huge amount of stuff can add it into it. And yeah, stimulus can be added in there as well if they foresee that to be a fit for this type of package. And again, I don't know. All I'm saying is that that's kind of some interesting information that's out there. And I had a video about it last weekend. So about a week and a day ago, it was about, yeah. BBS is saying he's not going to answer your question. There's a lot of questions. I'm not sure which question you're referring to, but I'm trying to do my best to answer as many questions as I possibly can. So, yeah. Root of the King, are they really going to freeze Medicaid? Good question. Okay, I don't want to sit here and say, no, you're fine. But I also don't want to, say that it's not going to get frozen or something, okay? I just read some information about this today as well. Apparently, maybe some changes brewing on Medicaid. We could potentially say, this is just a number I saw, by the way, today. They're talking that possibly 22 million people could be removed from Medicaid with some of these changes that they're thinking about, okay? I'm just saying. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just saying this is just what I read today. We don't know what's going to happen yet. That's kind of the thing. It's still so early to know about all of this right now. But Medicaid, I'm going to say this much. Likely getting a little bit of changes. I'm just going to say that. I don't know what they're going to be yet. There's a lot of options on the table. But there's about 72 million people enrolled in Medicaid right now. Possibly about, according to what I read today, about 22 million people could be removed from the program, okay? In total, Medicaid each year, a number that I saw the other day, was about $872 billion. So it's a lot of money. I mean, nearly $1 trillion a year is spent on Medicaid. I don't know how accurate that number was. I just saw the number. I just kind of took reference to it. I'm not sure if that's super accurate or not, but that's just a number that I saw referencing Medicaid. I would say that's certainly in the thoughts of some of the people as far as wanting to cut some federal spending, okay? Just saying, let's not get worried about it yet. Let me keep you posted on all of this. There's a lot of things that are changing, and the tough part about it is we don't know what they're going to be yet, right? So that's what I've been talking about for a while now, is that it's too early to know. All we know is that changes are coming for a lot of these programs, but what are they going to be? Don't know yet. That's kind of the big problem. So, yeah. Adrian Jackson, hello. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Adrian. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Yeah, thank you. Sarah Johnson, SSI. Yep, you're not going to lose it. You'll be fine. SSI is not going anywhere. Yeah, you'll be totally fine. Don't worry about it. Lisa Anthony saying, sorry, no more SS, Social Security. I'm curious. I've seen so many comments here in this live stream saying, no more Social Security. Where are you hearing this from? Okay, it's definitely not coming from me. I'm not sure where you're hearing this, but I think people are hearing this from somewhere. I don't know where, but it's definitely not from me. And Social Security is not going anywhere. You're going to get your benefits, right? Yep, I've said that like multiple times here in this live stream. You're good. Social Security is not going anywhere. So I don't know if other people are making videos about that, trying to scare people or whatever. Again, definitely not me. It's definitely not me saying that because it's not. Why would I say that? It's not true. Benefits are not going anywhere. You're good. Yeah, Marlene, I see that message there. Thank you. Andrea, is it Fraley? Sorry, I'm probably saying your last name wrong, but you're saying, what do you mean by no more taxes? What they're talking about is possibly possibly abolishing federal payroll, or sorry, federal income taxes. Okay, so you go out and you work, as an employee, a W-2, a 1099 person, whatever it happens to be, you get some income. The federal government says, hey, we want 10, 15, 25, 32, 39% of that, whatever it is, right? They say that they want a cut of that. They may be talking about repealing the federal income tax, okay, and replacing it, or trying to replace it anyway, with mostly tariffs. We'll see about that. It might be a little bit tough to do, but that's kind of what the talk is. And the whole idea behind these tariffs that have been implemented is that maybe let's roll back the federal income tax. So we'll see, which, by the way, I read this earlier today as well, which is basically, yep, tariffs will increase prices and inflation will go up, prices will rise. But then they're basically rebuttaling that by saying, well, if people have more money because there's no more federal income tax, it's a wash. True. I guess, kind of. Yeah, right? I guess it's kind of true. But I highly doubt it's going to be a wash. I mean, we know better. Come on. We know better than to act like it's going to be a wash. I mean, here's the thing. The COLA on our benefits are supposed to be a wash every year. It's nothing more than a freaking joke. The COLA is not a wash, right? It is absolutely not a wash. I don't know who thinks it's a wash. It's not. It's a joke, and they screw us. I don't know how else to say it. That's the reality of the situation, right? And we're sick of it. The COLA is 2.5%. Living expenses go up by 5, 6, 7%, and they call that a wash. Yeah, you're good. You got a cost of living adjustment. Yeah, you're fine. No, false. That's not true, right? We know better than that. Yeah. Okay. So a long time ago, I said I wasn't going to spend much time in the chat box here, but here we go, spending a lot of time in the chat box. I should probably really wrap this up here, but interesting conversation. Okay, I'm just going to spend another little time here, not much, another minute or two, just not much at all here, and then we'll wrap this up. Uh-oh. Charlene Reynolds, waving your hands all around. Thank you, Charlene Reynolds. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, let's leave it at that. I did something with the chat box. I don't know what I did. I've got a keyboard in my face now, and I can only see like 4 messages. Okay, sorry about that. Hey, by the way, if I missed your comment, your question, stuff like that, I apologize. I'm certainly not doing that on purpose. As you can see here, I'm trying to buzz through the comments as quickly as I can, trying to give shout outs, trying to answer questions, trying to do what I can for you to understand the situation. It's rough out there. If you need me to come on another live stream here, not a problem. I can do that. I can come on a live stream every day if you want to. At this point, here's the thing. I think anybody that watches these videos completely recognizes by now, I have no problem making videos. Here's the thing. I've been making between 2 and 4 videos a day for the last 4 years, 4+ years. I have no problem making videos or making live streams. This is literally what I do every single day right here, okay? Been doing it for like 4+ years, right? Anyway, my point is, if you want a dedicated video, if you want a live stream, no problem. Let me know. I can certainly do that. I can come back tomorrow. I can come back the next day. I can come back 5 times tomorrow if you want me to. It literally doesn't matter. I can do that for you. Okay, let's just let this simmer for a day or two. Let's see what happens. I'll be back tomorrow. We've got a lot more to talk about that I want to share with you. We'd be sitting here for days. If I had to share everything with you in one of these live streams, we'd be sitting here for a very, 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 very long time. Just because there's just so much going on right now. Anyway, let's leave it at that. I just hope you have a nice night. Again, thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. Let me know what I can do for you. Again, thank you for your support. Thanks for subscribing. By the way, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe. It's 100% free to do so. Subscribe button down below somewhere. Thanks. Really appreciate it. Otherwise, feel free to share the video. Check out the other videos here on the channel. Check out the video from this afternoon and this morning as well. Interesting content there, and kind of, I don't know, leads into what I talked about here a little bit. But yeah, otherwise, just stay tuned. I will continue to keep you posted on this and just let you know what's going on. Anyway, thanks for watching. Really, really appreciate it. And again, if I missed your comment, I apologize. Certainly not doing it on purpose. I can come back tomorrow. We can sit here all day if you want to, and I can answer questions all day. Doesn't matter, okay? All right, anyway, have a good night. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Again, please subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll catch you again tomorrow. All right, I'm going to unplug this and turn this thing off. Okay. That button. Are you sure you want to stop saying cancel? Yep. Okay, have a good night. I'll see you later.